I've had this for a bit now, and a few people asked me about it, so here is my take. I like making pizza at home, but I do not always want to heat up my full-size oven, and I also do not want something that only does one job. This is basically a countertop electric oven that is shaped and tuned for pizza, but it still works like a small conventional oven for everyday cooking. If you mainly want a quick way to make pizza that comes out with a crust that actually has some bite to it, and you also want something that can handle small trays of food, reheating, and simple baking, this is the kind of product this is for. This one stood out to me because it gives you separate control over the top heat and the bottom heat. That sounds like a small detail, but it matters in real use. With pizza, the top can finish faster than the crust, especially if you load toppings a little heavy. Being able to back off the top heat while keeping the bottom heat doing its job helps me avoid that situation where the cheese looks done, but the base still feels pale. I have also used that same control for other foods, like when I want more browning on top of a casserole, or when I am just trying to heat something through without toasting the surface. On the counter, it looks like a stainless steel box with simple knobs. It fits a modern kitchen without drawing attention. The build feels solid when I open and close the door, and the handle stays comfortable to grab. The controls are all physical, and I prefer that here. I can glance at the knob positions and know where I am at. No menus, no beeps except the timer, and no guessing if a button press registered. Setup was simple. I had to attach the handle, and that was it. In the box, mine came with a cooking stone and a couple of extras like gloves and an apron. I ended up using the stone the most, obviously. The stone is the key accessory here, because it changes how the crust cooks. With the stone preheated, the base sets faster, and I get a better texture than I usually get on a standard thin metal pan. In day-to-day use, this oven is pretty straightforward. There is a timer knob that gives you that old-school clicking sound as it runs, and when it hits the end it rings with a bell sound. I actually like that because I can hear it from another room. There are separate temperature knobs for the upper and lower heating elements, and there is a light switch so I can check food without opening the door. That light sounds minor, but when I am trying to time the last minute of a pizza, I would rather not keep opening the door and dumping heat. Let me talk about how I have been using it. For pizza night, I preheat the stone. I give it enough time to really get hot, because if you rush that part, the stone does not do much. When it is ready, I slide in a pizza and I watch the top and bottom progress separately. If the cheese is getting ahead of the crust, I turn down the upper heat a bit and let the bottom catch up. If the crust looks good but the top needs a little more color, I do the opposite. It is not complicated, but it gives you control that I do not get with a lot of smaller ovens. Size-wise, it has been big enough for the pizzas I usually make. It can handle up to about 14 inches, and that is basically the sweet spot for a lot of store-bought dough balls and a lot of pizza screens. It also gives you enough room to cook other things. I have roasted vegetables in it, baked smaller portions of cookies, and cooked some meat cuts that fit comfortably on a small tray. It heats faster than my full-size oven, and for quick meals that matters. I find myself using it multiple times a day on weekends, especially when I am doing little batches of food instead of one big dinner. Cooking results have been consistent once I learned my settings. For pizza, the big win is that the crust comes out more crisp compared to a microwave reheat or a basic toaster oven approach. For leftovers, it does a better job than a microwave when I care about texture, like fries, slices of pizza, or anything breaded. It is still a small oven, so it is not magic. If you pack it too full or block airflow, you can get uneven spots. I try not to overcrowd it, and I rotate trays when I am cooking something wider. There are a couple of limitations worth saying out loud. The outside can get warm when it has been running hot for a while, so I treat it like any other hot oven and I keep some space around it. The timer is mechanical, which I like, but it is not a precision instrument. If you are the type of person who needs exact seconds, this is more of a set it and stay nearby kind of timer. Also, the cooking stone is easy to use, but you do need to learn how to clean it the right way. I do not wash it like a dish. I let it cool, scrape off baked-on bits, and wipe it down. If you expect it to look perfectly clean forever, that is not really how pizza stones age. On cleaning the oven itself, it has been manageable. Crumbs and small spills wipe out pretty easily once it is cool. The stainless steel surfaces are not hard to maintain, but like any stainless steel, fingerprints show up. I keep a cloth nearby and it stays looking fine. One thing I want to address, because people ask this a lot, is smart features and mobile app support. This oven does not work that way. There is no mobile app here and there are no smart controls. Everything is manual. For me, that is not a downside because when I am cooking, I am usually standing close enough to turn a knob. If you want remote control, notifications, or saved presets on a phone, this is not that kind of product. So overall, my impression is that this is a practical countertop oven that happens to be very good for pizza, mainly because of the stone and the separate top and bottom heat controls. It feels sturdy, it is simple to operate, and it has earned a spot in my routine because it is quicker than heating a full-size oven, and it gives me more control than the tiny toaster ovens I have used in the past. It is not perfect, and you still have to pay attention like you would with any high-heat cooking, but once you get a feel for your preferred settings, it is easy to get repeatable results. You can find detailed information about the PYY electric pizza oven countertop indoor pizza cooker in the comments section. See you in the next video.